everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on Attachments by Rowell. Most people know Rowell because of her new book Eleanor and Park that just came out, I believe, earlier this year. It has been getting quite a lot of buzz. This is her first novel that she published in 2011. This book takes place in 1999 and follows Lincoln, who works as an IT/computer specialist at a newspaper company. He is just one of those people who isn't really sure what he wants to do with his life, but since he knows computers, he ends up getting hired at this newspaper company to start integrating email and all of these other internet related things to the newspaper company. And one of his jobs is that he has to read through any company related emails that get sent to him because of any keywords that get flagged. So if an employee mentions something that's inappropriate or uses a word that sends a red flag, it'll get forwarded to his special filter and he has to read through it and see if it actually is something that needs to be acted upon. Lincoln ends up coming across email exchanges between two co-workers, Beth and Jennifer. Their exchanges are basically just fun little conversations because they are friends and none of them are really super inappropriate, so Lincoln doesn't really send them a message telling them that their emails are being flagged. But that means that they just keep talking about anything that's going on in their personal lives, and Lincoln starts to really enjoy their conversations and starts to almost consider them friends, and he begins to realize that he is starting to fall for Beth a little bit. Of course, as this progresses, he starts to fall more and more for Beth, but he also realizes how inappropriate it all is. This book is really interesting because it is told in two ways. One, you're reading just normal narration of Lincoln as he goes about his days, and then some of the chapters are shown as email exchanges between Beth and Jennifer. So you are also finding out about Beth and Jennifer the same way Lincoln is finding out about them. You don't really know any more than Lincoln does about those two characters, which I thought was really interesting. This book has a very rom-com-y type feel to it because of the entire premise, but at the same time there's just so much more going on. I think Rowell is really good at writing characters and creating characters. I really think that is her strongest point. There are a lot of things that Lincoln is going through. He doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life. He ended up moving back home and living with his mom just because he just doesn't know what direction he wants to take his life in. He considers this job kind of just a filler job, something to do. Since he moved back home, he's trying to figure out sort of where he fits. He doesn't really have a lot of friends, but he isn't completely unpopular either. You know, he's kind of supposed to be this little nerdy boy who plays D&D and has a couple friends here and there, but is kind of socially awkward and doesn't really know how to talk to girls and just all these little things. But he's not a complete nerd stereotype either, which is really nice. And I found Jennifer and Beth to be pretty relatable as well. Maybe it's just because I worked in a newspaper and I felt like I could have been having conversations like this in my emails with my friends, but they are both just really witty and funny. I honestly find Rowell's writing to be really engaging. The one downside I would say to this book is that it is pretty predictable. It's easy to see where everything's going and everything kind of ends up the way that you think it's going to, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but I will say that there are certain things about the ending where I was just a little bit disappointed just because it was a little predictable, and I was just like, well, it's understandable. Like, you saw that this was all happening, so obviously it's going to end here, but part of me always kind of prefers the twist or not so happy endings. If I'm going to compare this and Eleanor and Park, I will say Eleanor and Park is a much stronger book, but that doesn't mean that this one is completely horrible. Again, her writing is just so engaging and her characters are so relatable, and I feel like I can always see myself in a lot of the characters that she writes, which is probably why I'm always so sympathetic towards them. In the end, I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars because I think it's good, not great. I will say it's for anyone who enjoys romantic storylines, or if you are someone who likes romantic comedies, then I would definitely recommend this book. It's a really quick read. I think I read it in like a day or two. So that is my review of Attachments by Rowell. If you have read this book, feel free to leave your comments down below letting me know what you thought of it. Like I said, I really enjoy Rowell's writing, and I am going to be one of those people who will be picking up Fangirl on the day it comes out. I am really excited to just continue reading more books by her.